citizens of Gotham and all the ships at sea. Edward Joseph Delaney here with a very simple tip for making your own mask during the COVID-19 crisis. I've heard plenty of people say they couldn't get masks anywhere, or if they try to order them online, it takes weeks and weeks before they arrive. Well, there is a way you can make a very simple one like this by requiring one piece of fabric, 22 inches of elastic. Fits over you just like this. Very durable and very simple. Oftentimes the best solutions are the most simple. Now then, what I did was make this little pattern right here, which you'll be able to find on Facebook on my Edward Joseph Delaney page and on my Gotham Filmworks Facebook page. On it, what you're going to see are these blue lines here, which indicate the half-inch hems that you bend. Oh, so you have an arrow like this, bends over like that. See, you bend it over like that, you pin the fabric into place, and then you sew it. See, you can know what happens is you take these ends here, and you'll pinch them. You'll sew these here, and these down here. Pinch those closed, and after that, you take your elastic. You got 22 inches right here, because I got a rather large head anyway. And you secure about 2.5, 3 inches up on this side, and you're going to want to sew around the whole thing at least 4 times. Quadruple stitch for durability. And the great thing about this thing is you can hand wash it if you want to, dump it in the washing machine, clean it under a UV light if you've got one. But a real simple thing about it is you get this simple pattern right here. You put it on some fabric, in which case I got this fabric from, some of you might recognize it. You remember the fabric I used when I made my, in 2014 when I made my Batman Arkham Asylum suit, the one I wore to the Comic-Con? Some of you might remember it. Here, take a look at these pictures right here. See, that's the same fabric I used. Same. You call it kind of a distressed vinyl. They call it. It's very durable. It's easily cleanable, and even under moisture conditions or whatever, it's not going to fall apart on you. And what you do is you just take your pattern and you put it on your fabric here. You trace the whole thing out in a piece of chalk, and you cut the thing out. You get a piece like this. At which point you can just start, see what this, you faintly see this line along here, the yellow lines, just like the blue lines on this one. You're just going to start bending those over and pinning them. And we'll get into close detail with that. Now what you do is you take your pin here. You're going to bend your fabric over like this, real simple. It doesn't matter if you never sewed before. Because if you don't use a sewing machine, you can still do it by hand. Just push this through here. You're going to hold these lines like this. And you just push it through like that. See that? Trail pin right there. Come to a bend here. Gently bend this up. And remember, you want to pin this thing in the direction that the sewing machine is going to be traveling, see? So, if I've got these pins going in this direction, see the pins are going up and like this. So when the sewing machine gets it, it's actually going to be doing it from the other direction, going this way, back toward the point of the needle. Always run your sewing machine at the beginning here, have it go back toward the point of the needle. You just pull the needles out, 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 and out as you go down. And we're just going to repeat the process all the way around. Now you notice how these ends here are tapered inward like that to contour your nose and your into your chin? Now, take a look at the way I've lined up the pins on this. See? We're going to take sew some stitches here and here, and this will cause this contour here. Then we can finish pinning the rest of the way around and sewing the whole thing around 4 times. Just like I said before, see the point of that pin? Pin points up. This will be the way the thread's going to travel. We'll go in here like this. Now here's what you do when you start this. Start doing it by hand first. Let the machine get a moment. Get used to the thickness of the fabric. See? You don't want to just stomp the edge in it right away. There you go. Then we can pick this up and we can extract the pin. This way your sewing needle doesn't strike the pin. You'd be amazed. This little pin right here can snap one of those needles if it hits it the wrong way. At least that's what people tell me. I haven't had that happen yet. I don't want to start. Gently lift this down like that. Step on your pedal. There we go. Turn it around. Drop your shoe. See, your tie off strings are right down here. I'm going to follow the same cords all the way around. See that? And then we're just going to do the same for this section right down here. Copy the same procedure. Go around here, come right back. See? Jelly root the pin. There we go. And we'll follow the contour. Turn it around. Drop the shoe again. Follow it back. Now you see, we turn this outside like this. You've got your facial contours. See that? About where your nose would go, about where your chin would go. Now, we're just going to sew all the way around there, and 3 or 4 times for durability. And see, with just a few moments work, you have the all the pinning done all the way around. See? Now here mine is still turned inside out because we're going to we do our stitchings on the inside, so we can start here with this point here and just go all the way around, lock it all down, taking the pins out as we go. Now since this fabric is going to stretch over your face, notice that the needle is moving slightly side to side because this is set in the middle for a zigzag stitch. You also set it mid-range down here to spread the stitches apart. See? You want them too close together. You want them zigzagged a few millimeters apart so that it allows you to have some range of stretch, some range of motion, and that also prevents a lot of your stitches from ripping when they're being used. See? Real simple like this. You get to a pin, gently pull it away, put it down, come down like that. Shoe and pivot. I know some of you are extremely experienced at using sewing machines. Some of you do some of the do cosplay craft every bit as good, if not better, than some Hollywood tailors can do it. Others, they're new to sewing machines, or they haven't used them in quite a while. Maybe they're stuck at home. This will give them something to do. Because you think about it, aside from just making them for you and yours, maybe you could, you got the time, maybe make some for other people that are in need. Because there's some people that are working, they're essential, they don't always have time to go looking for masks themselves. So you can make those for while you're sitting home. You could make those for other people as well. It's one of those eras in history where we all do our part, right? And what we'll do is just go around, this is just halfway around. You can just repeat the process 3 or 4 times, going around this circle like this, using a zigzag stitch. And this will allow you to have a considerable amount of durability in the mask. And with the zigzag stitch, the reason you do that is so that it allows for stretchability as well. So you can stretch side to side or up and down without tearing it. Oftentimes just a straight stitch, dip, dip, dip like this, you start to pull it side to side, it snaps. You do a zigzag stitch, it can release, it can mesh, and it can maintain its cohesion. It can maintain durability during use. And there we go, people. All right, pull this up a little bit here. Gently extract that. I'm going to leave several inches of usable thread there so you can tie it off with. And, well, look what we have here. Huh? You've got beginnings of your mask here. See? And just going to fit over you like that. The next stop now is just to get the elastic, which I'll be attaching here and here. Now you can see right here, we've been stitching on this expandable elastic strap, and did 3 orbits with the thread here. This will look like when it's all finished on that side there. Now what you have to do now is take this other side and start attaching it from over here. And we do, you hold it like that, like this, and you bring it around. And notice you have it marked off right there. You know how far beyond you want to go. Right at this line. And then we just anchor it down with a pin. And after 3 or 4 quick orbits around here, we've got this all sewn up, all of it tied off, and as you can see, we got another completed mask here. Fortunately, I'm making these things out of odds and ends from projects from quite some time ago with fabric we had bought years ago, so not all the time do the colors match, but it's durable, it'll do the job. And another good thing, like I said before, you could always put snaps or Velcro on the inside if you got activated charcoal or any other kind of filter that you could put on the inside there and to provide greater protection. That's an option too. It's always good to have that kind of versatility. And you'll be able to check my, again, as I said before, you'll be able to check my Edward Joseph Delaney and my Gotham Filmworks Facebook pages to find the pattern that you can just screen grab and print out on the 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You just cut that out. You take we lay that down on top of a piece of fabric, draw it with your chalk to outline it, and then you can start. Then you just cut the fabric out with this. Start hemming it over, and let you hem it. Run 3 or 4 laps of through the sewing machine here. Then you attach your straps, and you usually want to give yourself, take this meter right here, you want to give yourself a good 2 to 3 inches room in here, so you got some good pull on this thing. You got it anchored down pretty well. In case anybody's wondering why I'm making this little public service announcement, I figured, well, if you got what's the point in having the smallest video studio in the world if you can't do a little bit of good for it? Because I realize there's a lot of people, whether the government categorized them as essential or not, doesn't matter really. They're still essential to somebody, and they, as such, they should have essential protection. Now, at a time like this, of course, things are kind of frantic. It's hard to find all the pieces you want to get anything you need done. So what happens, oftentimes, is you take stock of what you do have, and you make the most of what you can from that. Now, one thing I have to explain to you, however, is that, remember, this is just a small piece of cloth, and as such, it's limited as how much protection it can really give to you. Now, there's also, if you check out my Edward Joseph Delaney Facebook page, you should find a chart there from, I think I put it on Saturday or Sunday night. Tells you line by line what type of masks offer the best protection, versus one with activated charcoal versus one that's foam rubber versus something else. You want to be careful with some of them because some of them have certain types of chemicals that were made into them. You got that thing close to your mouth like this, you might be breathing some of those chemicals in, so while you think you're protecting yourself from corona or anything else, you might also be breathing in these chemicals that maybe you can't smell or taste too well, that could also be doing damage to you. So you want to be careful about those. But you can check that chart out you can scroll down and find that chart that I did there. This is just minimum protection right here, and it'll get you through the door in the grocery store or whatnot, a few things like that. But it's not something that's going to really save your life in a hospital environment or something like that. But you can still enhance it, like I said, by putting in some filters or some layering. Good for that too. The bottom line here is we're just trying to detail to you is how to just take a simple pattern, a simple piece of fabric, and a simple piece of elastic, and be able to make yourself some kind of minimum protection that you can upgrade or add to as you need to, and you're just basically with basic fabric odds and ends, a piece of fabric, piece of elastic, a bit of thread and whatnot, and provide yourself just a minimum protection. Even if you don't need it much yourself, you could always make them for other people. I know there's they like to differentiate between those people that are essential and those that are not. Personally, I don't think there is such a thing as a non-essential worker. I don't believe in that idea at all, but apparently the political structure does. And if anybody's asking, well, gee, Ed, why are you going through all the trouble of doing this in the first place? Well, it's quite simple. We've got a virulent plague out there that could get worse. And we really don't know how many of us are still going to be around by this time tomorrow. Or this time next year. But I'll tell you, Gothamites, I have seen your art, and I have read your novels and prose, and I've heard your music. And as the years go on, I still want to see your best. I still want to. I mean, I watch what you make on YouTube. I watch what you put out on Facebook and whatnot. I mean, I've seen people make costumes that look every bit as good as anything that Hollywood could make. I've seen. Hey, I got a brother from another mother named Jeremy. This gentleman paints on rocks. I mean, he paints a whole diorama on a rock. I've seen some people, take just a simple, small keyboard and make some fantastic music. Or if you've seen an earlier video with my friend Josh Miller, he did some of the guitar solos for Outworld 2, and some of those are also going to show up in Outworld 3 and 4. But yeah, I've seen a lot of creative people do a lot of incredible things with very little money, but a whole lot of talent. And as we go forward, I want to continue to see your best. Best way to do that is to do a little I can to see if I can ensure you get through this period of crisis as intact as possible. Well, thanks a lot for viewing, Gothamites. Gratitudes for your continued interest, and good day, Gotham City, wherever you are.